I'm just excited about actually solving problems. Okay. And I think this agency is set up to help do that. Not by ourselves, but with others, with the support of others, surrounding ourselves with the allies and other nonprofit organizations, other businesses, other corporate leaders, other leaders from the political realm who are equally committed to solving problems.
This is Hourglass, the podcast for United Way of King County in Seattle. Coming up, the first episode in a monthly series that will feature commentary and perspective from United Way President and CEO Blair Taylor. In July, Blair became United Way's third president and CEO since 2000, and we're excited to have him speak directly to our listeners on topics including his vision for our organization and the unique impact we can make to address concerns in our communities. We will also spotlight our community partnership kit offerings and an upcoming Seattle Storm game that will benefit United Way grantee Filipino Community of Seattle. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello, everybody. Blair Taylor. I am the CEO of the United Way of King County. And it's a real pleasure to be back here with you on this podcast. We're going to try to do this once a month. What we're going to try to do is give you some updates on what's happening at the United Way and maybe share a little bit of my perspective about what I'm seeing and hearing across the city. This is a really unique position, and it's an opportunity to talk with people across different sectors, across different parts of the economy, across different places geographically in town. And I've spent the last 4 weeks or so, in my first 4 weeks on the job, really digging in and listening to people and trying to understand what's on their minds, what do they think about the work of the United Way, and what kinds of things might we do together to make this city and region a better place. And so I want to share with you just a couple of things in this podcast today, and I'll be brief. But there's things that I'm excited about that I'm seeing and hearing in my conversations, both inside of this agency and outside of this agency. And I think they're relevant and important as maybe points of inspiration for all of us, quite frankly. We all need a little inspiration every now and then. So let me start inside the United Way. I've had conversations. I committed to have conversations with every single staff person here at the United Way. It's a big agency. We have more than 100 people who work here. And I'm excited about the dedication of the people in this organization. They are truly dedicated to this mission. They're mission-centered people who are working at this agency. And you'll be pleased to know that some of them have been here for quite a while. They really understand this city, this region, and this agency and what our capabilities are. And I'm here to tell you, we've got some talented people. Not only are they mission-centered, but they're also very talented. And so I feel very good about the future of this agency as we think about how we're going to emerge, how we're going to, shape our strategy to fit with the times and what we have to work with. We have a lot of talent here, and they are dedicated to making the lives of residents better. And that's a good thing. I'm going to tell you, I'm also excited about Seattle and the opportunities that are here in Seattle. And somebody may say, well, we got all these problems. We have all these things that we have to deal with. We do. But we have a real opportunity here for organizations across sectors to step up and step in a big way. And I think that's true, particularly in the nonprofit sector, although not exclusively. I think it's also true in the corporate sector. When we think about government here and in the region and even outside of the region across the state, and even if you want to get to national, there's a big role for government. Government has to keep being the facilitator and the method to scale. I think the innovations, the new ideas, the new approaches may need to come from the nonprofit sector and the corporate sector, the business world at this point. And so I think that balance of really understanding where are the strengths of each sector and how can we play together to solve some of these big issues that we face is a very important thing. And I'm very excited about it because if we can figure that out, we can bring those innovators into the game. I think we can come up with some very creative solutions. I'm a big fan of government, so I'm not against government. But I think, quite frankly, if we're honest with ourselves, there may be a new need for a redefining of the role of government. Government may not be able to solve all the problems the way it did in the last century and this century, certainly not by itself. And so coming up alongside of our government officials, our elected officials, and helping to figure out solutions is part of what I think is really an exciting opportunity for us. I'm also excited about what Seattle's actually gotten right. A lot of people say, we can dwell on all the things that the city hasn't gotten right, right? We can go through that whole list. I'm choosing to think a little bit about what we have gotten right. We've gotten transportation right. I just came back from the airport the other day, and that train was packed, okay, at 11 o'clock at night. That means people are getting a much cheaper way of getting around town. And it's a good line, and it's clean, and we're doing everything we can to keep it safe. We've gotten transportation right. I think we've gotten the development of certain areas of town right. And I think that's important to not lose sight of that. Areas of downtown that we've redeveloped. I've lived in Seattle for almost 15 years, and there are parts of this city that look very different today than they did when I first moved here. South Lake Union, for example. And, it's become a vibrant hub where there's a lot of activity going on down there. I think that's a good thing. We have to acknowledge we got that right? There are things that we need to do. I got it. But I think we've also had a history of coming together to solve problems. And we need to draw on that now. And that's part of what I want the United Way to be a part of. How do we bring those sectors together to solve big problems? 15 years ago, I think we did that. I think we need to work on it again today together. So I think that's an opportunity as well as something that historically we've gotten right. And then I got to tell you, I'm just excited about actually solving problems. Okay. And I think this agency is set up to help do that. Not by ourselves, but with others, with the support of others, surrounding ourselves with the allies and other nonprofit organizations, other businesses, other corporate leaders, other leaders from the political realm who are equally committed to solving problems. And you know what? There's some problems that we can actually solve. I just attended a meeting earlier this week on the topic of youth homelessness. And when we think about youth homelessness, we think, wow, what an incredibly, serious issue for a city and a region to grapple with. But then when you look at the numbers, right now, the documented case numbers or cases are under 1,000. And so that's an issue we could potentially solve. We could actually come together and solve that one. And wouldn't it be great to just put that victory up on the scoreboard, right? Yes, there are problems that we'll be attacking for many, many, many years. But there's also some that we can solve. And so I'm excited about the prospect of solving those. So I will tell you, in our next few meetings together, I intend to talk about not just the progress of the United Way, but the progress of the United Way as we lean in to the issues of this region. Okay. And we're going to do that. We're going to be refining our strategy. I will keep you posted through this podcast regularly on how that's going. But we're going to take some big swings. We're going to try to make as much of a difference as we can in the lives of our residents, particularly those who are less fortunate. That's our focus. And so I just ask you to join us. Hopefully you can be as excited as I am about the good things that are happening in this region, because there are many. And so I thank you for listening, and I look forward to our next time together. Thanks.
If you're a company interested in volunteering and team building, consider United Way's Community Care Kit opportunities. Community Care Kit offerings are packages loaded with essential items for King County residents based on needs identified by neighborhood-based organizations. Assembling and distributing those kits is part of a volunteer project known as Kit Builds, and we've hosted kit builds for companies and organizations in our area for more than a year. Among the organizations that have taken part in kit builds are Amazon, the Gates Foundation, PACCAR, and Microsoft. For information on how you can sponsor a community care kit offering opportunity, log on to uwkc.org, click on Get Involved, click on Volunteer, and under Group Volunteering, click on Learn More. The Seattle Storm and United Way grantee Filipino Community of Seattle invite you to Filipino Heritage Night, which will be held during the Storm's August 30th contest against the Los Angeles Sparks at Climate Pledge Arena. Filipino Community of Seattle will partner with the four-time WNBA champions for a community-centered event that will be fun for the whole family. A portion of every ticket purchased for the game will go directly towards supporting Filipino Community of Seattle, and the first 250 ticket purchasers will receive a Storm Filipino Heritage Night hat. Tickets can be purchased via stormgrouptix.com/Filipino Heritage. At United Way of King County, we are working side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Hourglass United Way is a podcast that highlights how we and our partners spend time making a difference in our communities. Our work is made possible by generous donations from people like you. Please send all comments and suggestions about our podcast to hourglass@uwkc.org. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn via @UnitedWayKC. And to learn more about our work or to support United Way, log on to uwkc.org. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for listening. Until next time.